Hello, welcome back to another video from the Brick Shed. My name is Noah, and what we have here is a massive tub of Bionicle. I recently bought this from in a bigger collection. There was a ton of complete Bionicle sets, and also this amazing mystery tub filled with Bionicle parts. Who knows what's in here? And what I want to do is I want to share with you the process of us going through it, sorting it, and finding all the treasure. So I paid $300 for this tub. It's just over 10 kilos of Bionicle parts. There's probably complete sets in here as well, but I've dealt with all of the complete sets. I don't want to deal with any more. So anything that's in here is going to be stripped down for parts and uploaded to the Bricklink store. So I'm really excited to see what we can find in here, what treasures are in here, and most importantly, how much money we'll be able to make. So first things first is we need to tip this out onto the table and start sorting. So I'm going to take you through a time lapse. We're going to go through it and get this all sorted down into part type. Hopefully find a few Bionicle masks, a few of the rubber pieces as well. I can't remember what they're called, but there is a ton to go through here. Let's jump right in. Well, we have been busy. So that time lapse has taken us through, and we have, with the help of one of my contractors, have sorted all of those Bionicle parts into categories. The categories I kind of just came up with on the top of my head. There's no really kind of real system to it or the best way to do it. Basically, what we wanted to do is just thin the herd. So the next step after this is going to be a proper B-sort. And basically B-sort just means I need to take each piece and put each specific mold type into one bag. Doesn't matter what color it is, but basically, all of these pieces need to end up in the same tub. Doesn't matter what color. All of the other tub, all of this piece needs to end up in that tub. But the only way to do that is to kind of have some type of category system before we get to that point. Because if I just went from bulk and I did that from there, I would need hundreds or thousands of containers to do that. So it's a lot easier to split this into some sort of categories and then take each category one by one and B-sort it and upload those parts from there. Now, you might be wondering what categories I've got here. I'll take you through a few of them. We've got some really special ones here that you probably want to see. Probably the most important one is the masks and heads category. So in there, we've got all of the, of course, masks and heads from Bionicle pieces. Some of these Bionicle masks can go for ridiculous amounts of money. So I'm really hoping we find a few gems in there. But anything over $1 or $2, I'm going to be really happy with. Funnily enough, actually, a couple of days ago, I uploaded a mask worth 120 Australian dollars, which is just crazy. Hopefully it's on your screen right now. It was in trans neon orange. It only came in one of the mask packs. It didn't come in any standard set. And yeah, 120 Australian dollars is how much I've listed it for. We've actually sold this mask for about $100 a couple of times before, so I know it's going to sell eventually. But that was a really awesome find. That wasn't from this 10 kilo lot; it was from a separate lot. I have not seen that mask in here, so unfortunately, no $120 mask. But who knows? We might find something else that I haven't been aware of. I've seen some cool stuff in here. There are definitely some valuable things, but who knows what we'll find. So that's the first category. We had 3 containers of masks. The next one we've got is the weapons category, which is basically just anything that looks weapon-like. There's blades in here, there's some fire pieces, there's some all sorts of random stuff, projectile shooters, anything that I could justify as a weapon ended up in there. We actually have 7 containers full of weapons, and another one of those categories where those weapon pieces, some of them can be a couple of dollars each, and when you've got a couple of hundred, that adds up really, really fast. So we've got those containers filled, and hopefully we find a few cool gems in there as well, some really unique parts in there. Honestly, Bionicle is one of those themes that the parts just don't even look like Lego half the time, and it makes sorting it really, really difficult sometimes, because I'm like, I have no idea what this part is, and I have no idea where to put it and what it is, whether it's an armor piece or it's a body piece or it's a connector. Who bloody knows? So we've got weapons, and then probably one of the coolest boxes, which you might not find it very cool, but I definitely do, is the odds and sods, kind of random stuff, the rare kind of items that you don't see very often, and usually the stuff that's worth a lot of money. So in here we've got some cool rubber pieces. There is I think you call them Karanas. There's some awesome Zamospheres, which are just Lego balls that the Bionicles shoot out at each other, and a few other cool, interesting elements that are worth a couple of dollars, and when you add all of it up, it ends up being quite a pretty penny. So I'm really looking forward to figuring out what kind of treasure we're able to find in that container. Only one container of those rare kind of parts, but some really awesome random parts nonetheless. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. There's connectors, there's feet pieces, there's armor type parts, and all of that is pretty normal, but there's definitely still some value in a lot of these categories. Obviously, some of the standard kind of big, chunky body pieces are not worth a whole lot, but that's all right, because there aren't hopefully that many of them. What we want lots of masks, lots of weapons, and lots of those unique parts. And I think we've gotten that. So fingers crossed there's some really good value in here. So basically, what is going to happen next? So what we're going to do is we're going to go category by category, and I'm going to sort through it. We're going to B-sort it, so sort it down into mold type, and we are going to make spreadsheets for all of the parts in these containers, and figure out what kind of value is in here. And then obviously we need to get these parts into the drawers that are behind me and up for sale, so people like yourselves and other customers can buy them to complete or make their own Bionicle sets. So I know a lot of people who make custom Bionicles, and all of these parts go really, really well with people like that, because they're able to mock up their own creations and create their own custom characters. And on the flip side of that, somebody has an old Bionicle set and needs a part, they're missing something, they can come to my store and buy it and be able to complete it, and I'm able to kind of supply that missing part to help complete that set, which is really, really satisfying. So that's the plan. We need to get it all up for sale to figure out how much value we've got here. Obviously, that's not instant profit, but this stuff sells quick. So it might not be in my bank account straight away, but it will definitely come soon. The other thing I'm really looking forward to do is when we go through and turn this into spreadsheets, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to see what sets used to be in this bulk. I'm really interested to see what sets have been split up into these categories, and what used to be in this collection. So this was somebody's collection at one point, and somebody owned all of this and had built all of these sets and bought them all one by one from Lego, and somehow they've ended up in my shed in tubs, and they're going to end up in drawers, and then eventually all across the country and maybe the world. So I really enjoy the story behind the parts and where they've come from. And what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to take some of the unique parts, like the masks, like some of these unique specialty parts, and I'll be able to see that part only came in this set, which means that set was probably in here somewhere. And it's really interesting to kind of see that as just a bit of information, just for fun. So I'll be able to show you along and share that information that I find as I go category by category. But that's about it from me. I better jump straight into it and start taking category by category and start working through this, because this is going to take me a few days. But I'm looking forward to taking you along for the ride. So we probably are going to jump through into a new time lapse, but this is really awesome. We've made some really good progress so far, but we've got a lot more to do. The first of many categories has been processed. We started with the smallest category, which is just the claws and hands section. And it was all right. It was $72 for what you can see there listed, apart from, of course, those corner bricks there. Our best part was $3.36. And that part was, I'm just making sure that there wasn't another part that beat us out. No, $3.36, which is the pearl light grey hand with 3 fingers. So this guy, $3.36. I can actually find out what set he comes on as well, if you would like to know that information. Just pulling it up now. $3.36 in pearl light grey. He appears in set 7168 Duncan bulk. So get all those packed away, and we're going to keep moving on. There's a lot to do. 339 pieces added to the inventory. We've just finished the next category, the Bionicle armor plating category, or Hero Factory armor. Got some good pieces in here for a total value across all the category, all the pieces here at $146. And our best piece so far in this category has been this guy, which is sitting at $5 and comes in set 2192, the drill dozer. And I already have 2 of them in the inventory. So we'll keep going. All right, and we are back at it. All right, so all of the Technic Bionicle connectors have been finished, the ones that hold ball joints. So I've done all of those, a few different variants. There's like, a couple of different ones of these, and these guys have different versions where the actual hole is either solid or there's got a gap in between it. My gosh, the variants really do kill you on the sorting time. But this has been the best category so far. We have a total of 621 pieces for a total of $392. And the best part has been for $10.28. We have 2 of these Technic connectors in black, and they come in 2 sets in black. One being 7162 Rotor, and the other one being 8995 Thornatus V9. I'm going to say that this is the reason why it's expensive, because of this set, because I know that this set is a good one. So some more good parts. We're going to move on, chuck them back in, and we'll move on to the next category. And the next category is the ball joints themselves. Pretty much just the opposite of the last category. All right, let's just smash right through it. We have a total of 539 pieces here. There are 124 pieces in A40 as well, just a large quantity, so they're not here. For a total of $206, and our best part is that white part there. There's 2 of those connectors for $2 each, so not a crazy amount. Sorry, my camera is not focusing at all, and they come in set 6227 Breeze, another Hero Factory. So rolling along. So we're going to do one of the more interesting categories. We're going to attack all of the weapons parts. There are some really, really interesting, unique elements in the Bionicle weapons category. And I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the values in there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a time lapse, and we're going to start uploading them all. We're going to put them all into drawers. I'm going to pull out my half empty drawers rather than fully empty drawers, because I'm not going to have lots of quantity of each of those weapons. I'm only going to have like 1 to 3 of each. It's much more, it's much better for me to grab a drawer such as this. Sorry, this focus is not doing very well. It's much better to grab 1 more of these and put 3 weapons on top of there, because I'm not going to be able to really fill this up, but it does have space to put a couple of unique parts on top, and it doesn't really hinder our pickers picking from the drawer. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a bunch of the already filled drawers, try to fix this camera focus, and we'll start it. weapons have been finished. That was a bit of more of a tricky category because I kind of had to go one by one. There wasn't much pre-sorting, so it did take me a little longer. This was the best part that we uploaded. This large kind of weapon came in 4 sets, and it's worth $16. So I packed most of the drawers away, but we've got these couple of drawers still to put away. Some nice stuff. Absolutely. This doesn't actually look like I've filled it up too much, so I'll keep these drawers out and I'll be able to upload more into that. Yeah, there's that Bionicle weapon for $16. Comes in these 4 sets. So not an exclusive one yet. $16 is pretty damn good. And then if we want to look at the entire file, we uploaded a total of 446 parts for a total of $493. So that averages out to $1.11 per piece, which is absolutely stunning. And all of those parts are now pushed to the inventory. So we're getting some more lots to the store as well. And that value is definitely creeping up. Attacking some of the more random parts in the Bionicle section, just kind of the random bulky stuff that really didn't have a proper category. So I've semi-sorted some of this stuff out. I've just got piles because there wasn't too much of it. But I'm going to get all of this into the inventory and see what this small little category turns up for us. I reckon that those pieces are going to be pretty good. But otherwise, I'm not seeing anything particularly special here. Let's get on with it. Well, that file ended up being a little better than I thought, and I wasn't actually correct about these guys being the best pieces. These torsos come on, well, they're actually torsos to like the little Bionicle figures. I can't remember what they're called, but those were between $5 and $3 a piece. But everything added up to $112.21. We only got 154 pieces out of that, but also pretty good at a 73 cents average per part. But the best part was actually $12. Super unexpected, but it was this piece here, which is also a torso type part. I uploaded a bunch of them in different colors, some white ones in there. The rest were all under $1 pretty much. But that black one at $12, coming in these 3 sets here in black. What do we got? 8763, Toa Noric, and then 8603, Toa Wanua, I want to say, and it's the same. That's the same set there. It's probably just got a slightly different inventory, maybe some special packaging or something. But that is quite interesting. $12 part. You learn something new every day. We are finishing ourselves off strong with this amazing Bionicle lot. All the other categories have been finished. We are left with the masks category, which is all very neatly laid out on the table, as well as the specialty parts category, which is just over to my left, which we will take you through in just a second. But I figured we'll start with the masks. This is probably what everyone's been wanting and hoping for. Now, I will preface this. There is no crazy $100 masks in this lot. The $100 mask that we did get from a lot around about the same time that we bought this has already been listed on the screen now. I can't remember the name, but that one I think has been listed for just over $100 on our Bricklink store, which is a beautiful mask, and I think I've mentioned it in this video already. But what we're looking at here, we're looking at 203 masks or heads or mask type parts from the Bionicle and Hero Factory lines. There's 115 different types of masks here, and yeah, 203 total parts for a total of 662 grams of Lego. In regards to a value across the board, we're looking at just around the $300 mark. I don't have the exact amount right now, but it's just about $300. So nothing ridiculously crazy, but definitely that price to weight ratio is beautiful on these pieces. Most of these parts are $1, $2, $3 plus parts. And what we're going to do is we're going to dive straight in, and I'm going to take you through the heavy hitters, and we're going to go from smallest to largest. We'll probably take you through about 10 different masks and take you through what they are and where we've seen them and how much they are. We're going to start with the Bionicle mask Vorox, coming on the Vorox Bionicle figure, set 8983. This guy in tan is worth $3.50 Australian. A beautiful mask, and definitely something that's not too common in regards to the way it's presented. A lot of our masks are going to be fully encompassing if we look at this, this covers the entire face versus here, it's more of just a kind of a topper rather than an entire mask. But that guy here from the Vorox character. Our next mask is another Bionicle one over here in dark blue. Bionicle mask, Faxon. And he is kicking us off with also $3.50 from the Toa, I want to say, Haley, maybe. Very hard to pronounce some of these Bionicle masks, so forgive me if I'm pronouncing them wrong, but Toa Hahali, maybe. Set 8914, $3.50 again. All these masks are in pretty good condition. Some great stuff. A lot of the time you'll see on the masks fading or cracks or scuff marks just because they're played around with so much. Now, jumping into another Bionicle mask. We haven't started on any Hero Factory. This actually might all be Bionicle stuff actually in the most expensive parts. Bionicle mask, Haoa Nuva from the Adaptive Armor form in dark red here. From Toa Tua, I want to say. Toa Tua, set 8689. Such interesting, unique parts. Oh, and that one was $3.60. Now, here we go at something really interesting. Something very strange, not a common part, that's for sure. It honestly doesn't even feel like Lego. It's not rubber, but it's not a hard plastic either. It's like, it feels more like an injection mold or a I don't know what it is, but it's shiny, smooth. It doesn't really feel like Lego for some reason. But here we have the Bionicle head. It's not a mask, from the Baraki Karapara with marbled trans brown pattern from Karapa, I want to say is the name of the character, set 8918. A very strange piece at that, and definitely a really, really weird color. So we'll put that down. That one's $3.70. Jumping in to our next one is going to be actually our one and only Hero Factory part in the top 10. Hero Factory mask, Wolf from Bulk 3.0, set 2182, sitting at $4.50, flat silver. It looks like a wolf mask. Honestly, when I first saw this, I actually thought of Chima. So that's an interesting one there. But Hero Factory, definitely, not the greatest theme in these kind of action figure range of parts. Jumping in to the 6th place position, Bionicle mask, Hayu Stars from the character, I want to say Tahu, set 7116. Now, this mask here in the Pearl Gold is not actually the character's mask, but it is a secondary kind of specialty mask that comes with the category as a special kind of extra piece that you get with the set as kind of a collector's item rather than an actual part to the character. But this guy in Pearl Gold is sitting at just under $5. And honestly, this is one of the more recognizable kind of faces to Bionicle masks. I want to say it might be the most recognizable mold type for Bionicle masks. So this guy, $4.90 in the Pearl Gold. Very nice. Now we're going to jump into one of the biggest parts in the collection here, the Bionicle Piraka spine with mask and arm covers from the Avic character, coming in the flexible rubber rather than a hard plastic. And this guy is humongous, just like some of the other ones over here, but sitting at $5 as well, coming in the Avic character from set 8904. This is a really interesting part, and some of these parts like this, you don't usually find them in such good condition. Oftentimes, a lot of these spine pieces are peeled off, and definitely something that you don't usually see. But what happens here is this guy sits as the top of the mask, and then these parts here strap on to the arms, usually, of the character. There are Technic pinholes there to secure it to the arms, as well as one in the tailpiece to lock it in on the back. So it kind of molds around the character which makes a really interesting part and something that you definitely don't see in Lego very often, something that you probably wouldn't say looks like a Lego piece. So that one's sitting at just around $5 from Avic. Now, jumping into the top 4 best valued parts here, none of which are masks, actually. We're going to start with the Bionicle head connector, which is the brainstalk of some of the Toa characters. And this one in particular in trans red is worth $6.80 from Toa Matu from set 8605. And this one is not going to be the only one in the top 4 of this specific part. I'm going to skip over it pretty quickly because we're going to jump into, we're going to sidestep over to a different part to also not a mask, but somehow ended up in the mask category. Bionicle shoulder armor from Toa Nuva, set 7136 in pearl gold, is a whopping $10 for just this one piece. And another similar to what we saw with this guy over here, not actually part of the character or the set, but it came as an extra specialty item on the side as a collector's piece rather than something that actually came on the character in the set. So something that made it, pretty valuable, probably because it wasn't attached to the character. This part got lost a lot more easier. Now, jumping in to the top 2 in second place, and funnily enough, we have 2 of them, back to the Bionicle head connector from the Toa line, the Brainstalk in trans dark blue. These are $10.20 each. This part appeared in Toa Onawa set 8604, and these guys, again, $10.20 is ridiculous. And finishing us off in top number 1 place for $17 a piece in trans light blue, another set of 2, we have, again, the Bionicle head connectors, the Brainstalks from the Toa line, from Toa Nuja, or Toa Nuju, set 8606. Again, $17, absolutely ridiculous for something so tiny and so insignificant, really. Very odd that those parts are worth so much and not, you'd think that some of these bigger parts over here would be worth more money, but only the that reddish brown one was worth something. These guys are only a couple of dollars a piece. But very interesting. We've got a really good selection here. There are some really, really, really fun masks here. All really super unique elements that you don't see every day, and you don't usually find in quantity like this. Some of the honorable mentions, we have a really good lineup of all the different colors of the Bionicle heads from the I want to say Rakshi line of Bionicle. In all the different colors. Oh, and I've knocked a bunch of parts there. And then, of course, the Bionicle and Hero Factory heads, which don't often make an appearance just because they're not worth that much, but still very interesting parts, that's for sure. I love how they did kind of the, almost dual molding, even though these are 2 separate parts here. They connect them and they send them off as one part, but I love seeing when a part in itself has 2 different colors molded into it. Always found that really fascinating. But some really interesting parts here. We've even got some of the Ben 10 line heads here, which kind of fit in that same Hero Factory and Bionicle line. But that is looking really fantastic. We've got about $300 in value here, but the most important thing here for me is the variety of different parts, and we don't have most of these parts already for sale, so we're going to get all of these listed, and it's been really, really fun to go through this lot. So we're going to add that to the tally, we're going to get these uploaded, and we're going to move on to the final category, the specialty parts. So all of these wonderful elements are pretty awesome and extremely valuable. We do not have a lot of stuff here. We only have a total of 221 pieces here with a total of 84 lots. There is 300 grams of Lego here, so half of what we had on the masks, yet the value here is at $500 or just around there. $500 for all of these parts here. Multiple $10 plus pieces in this lineup. And if you don't know Bionicle or you don't know rare Lego pieces, you might be a bit confused as to how some of these elements could be worth that amount of money. Now, how I decided what to actually pull out to assign as a specialty item was whether it was super, super unique that really didn't fit in any of the other categories that I had made for the Bionicle lineup, or if I previously knew that that part in itself was worth something special or notable enough to put into this category. There are some really, really cool parts, a lot of double ups, so I'm not going to say the name of every single part, just because, you know, I'm not going to say the name of every single one of the Bionicle thrower arm pieces, just because, you know, my tongue is going to be in a big twist if I do that. But bear in mind that most of those pieces here consist in the top 10. So we're not going to do the top 10. We'll just do kind of the best parts that, you know, some of the more notable stuff, starting with a Bionicle weapon, the Baraki Kalmar Tentacle / Seaweed Inflexible Rubber from set 7148 from the character Meltdown in Lime. This part here is worth $6.80. This part comes in a whole other bunch of colors, including yellow. We've got another one there, but this comes in black. It comes in a few other different colors. Black, green, orange, pearl light gray, yellow, and also in lime. I believe lime being the best one in regards to value, but that one's sitting at $6.80, coming in set 7148. Moving on to some of the throwing arms, over here we have there are two different types. One of them is the Bionicle Tahunga bamboo disc thrower arm with 4 spines on the curve, and the other one being this guy with 5 spines on the curve, and this one is just called a claw arm rather than the bamboo disc thrower. So those are the two differences, and you can see I've rotated them to signify that these are one type, these are another type. The black one here is worth $8.03, coming in 3 different sets. 8556 Boxer, set 1389, the Onapu Polybag, as well as set 8026 Kratu, followed by the tan one of the same variant for $8.25, also coming in 3 sets, coming in the limited edition 500 pieces set 8713, set 1388, the Huhuki Polybag, as well as set 8546, the Power Pack, which is a very interesting set, coming with a CD and some other unique parts. So that is a really special part right there. We then have 2 of the other clawarm variants in black. We actually have 3. There's another one down here, except this one is a bit damaged. So I have listed it separately, obviously marking it's damaged. It's going to be about 50% off the price of these ones, which are $8.20. And these guys come in a few sets that are one set that's not a Bionicle set, being set 8012, the Super Battle Droid from Star Wars Technic line. This guy here also coming in 8556 Boxer, as well as 8713 limited edition 500 pieces, as well as set 1389, the Onapu Polybag. So a bit of a repeat there. Now, finally mixing it up with the Bionicle Tahunga bamboo. That's exactly the same thing. Sorry, we're going to the Bionicle Rakshi Krata. These guys here are very interesting, and they actually have different mold types. These parts here, they all look the same, but actually there are 3 different mold types over here. So we are starting off with this guy right here, which is the stage 4 version, and these are really interesting because they have a marbling effect. So these have been injected with 2 different colors, and you can see that on this one a bit better. You've got red here and reddish gold here. For this one, it is pearl dark gray and light gray. Then these 2 here are pearl sand blue as well as medium blue. So some very, very interesting colors here, but some of these guys are worth really, really crazy money. Actually, 2 of them being in the top 3, and I'm going to tell you right now, this guy right here being $9.70, coming in the Krata set, as well as set 8591 Vorak. Then we have our two sand blue ones, the stage 2 version, which is this guy right here, coming in set 8590 Gorank, and that being worth $14.80, as well as the stage 1 version, also coming in Gorank, but worth $17. Now, our best part here is sadly damaged, being another one of those Tahunga claw arms. It being valued at $22, we will be selling it for about $10, as it just has some nicks and some scratches on here. Coming in set 1391, the Jala polybag, which is very interesting. Some of those Bionicle figures that came with these arms here look really, really weird. And it's very interesting to see how valuable they are. We've got some honorable mentions, being one of the throwing discs that actually these throwing disc arms actually are meant to throw. Bionicle came out with a ton of different ones of these, and you can actually try to collect them all. There's a really interesting story behind all of these masks that are printed on here, and I don't really fully follow the story, but there are some hardcore Bionicle mask fans or Bionicle fans that I'm sure will be able to tell me in the comments what all of these mean. But here we have the Akaku mask pattern on our throwing disc, coming in set 1393 Matoro polybag, this being worth $13 for this little guy, just because it is so collectible. Some really nice parts nonetheless across the board here. We have some of the Krana masks sitting over here, as well as some Zamospheres, which are always do well. So some great parts nonetheless, and there is some really good variety here as well. Some really good specialty items that you don't see listed on Bricklink too often. So I'm hopeful that these are going to generate some really good sales. All right, let's talk numbers. So I have now finished all of the Bionicle pieces. The last two categories that I needed to upload were the specialty parts as well as the masks. Those are now all in the inventory. Actually, there are some drawers behind me here that have some of those pieces in them, and they are all up for sale now, so you guys can go buy them if you would like to. So the final numbers, let's go category by category. Now, some of these category names are just random names that I've come up with. As I said at the very start of the video, when I was doing the preliminary sort of kind of just thinning out the herd, I just made up categories and assigned parts to them. So some of these may not make sense, but they made sense to me. All that matters really is the value. So the total value of all the parts, let's go one by one, starting with claws, which were the first category uploaded, which came to a value of $73.28, followed by armor plating, which came to a total value of $146.85. We then had the connector pieces for a total of $410.49, one of the best categories so far. Then we had the ball joint parts, which came to $211.89. Now, I believe the second best category in the entire upload was the weapons category. One of the best ones, absolutely. $493.68 for the weapons. We then had some random body parts, which were $112.93. We then had torso type elements for $182.84. We had the Bionicle feet pieces for $206.84. We had joint connector type pieces that didn't fit really with the connector category or the ball joint category, and that came to $203.33. We then had all the other armor parts for $472.29. That other armor category actually came in third place as the third best category in all the Bionicle stuff. And then we had the final two categories, which I just did, the masks, which I was right on point at 300 for $339.11, and then the specialty parts came to a total of $537.21. Holy crap, those are some big numbers. So if my math serves me correct, and it should be on your screen now, that gives us a total value of $3,390.74 of value. Obviously, that is not profit. As many of you made it clear in one of my previous videos, it is not profit, as I have not received that money yet, but it is listed value. That is how much money we have listed to the Bricklink store, which is absolutely fantastic, over $3,000. So that averages out at $339 per kilo, as it was 10 kilos total of Bionicle pieces. And what we paid for that bulk lot originally was $300. So that gives us a total profit after sale, once we've actually sold the parts, for over $3,000 as well, $3,090.74. Bloody ridiculous. And if you want to talk a percentage increase, the percentage difference between that $300 and the over $3,000 price, we are looking at a net revenue increase of 167.48%, which is absolutely fantastic. All of these numbers are really, really good. So $3,000 is actually what I was, that's what I was hoping for. So I was kind of right on the money there for $3,000. I would have loved a bit more, but $3,000 is definitely makes that category worth it. You know, people want to know how long all of that took me. I did it across a week in bits and pieces. This whole video I wasn't filmed in one day, but it probably was a total of maybe 20 hours, maybe 30 hours of work, probably closer to 20 hours. 20 hours of work with the help of myself and a couple of my contractors, as well, as you might have seen in the video. They might have appeared in one of the time lapses. But $3,390 worth of Bionicle parts are now listed to the store. That is absolutely fantastic. I really hope at the end of this video, when I went through all the specialty parts and I kind of mentioned where parts were from and what sets they came in, that stuff was really interesting to you and hopefully a little bit informative as well. If you like this style of video, let me know in the comments down below and I'll try to do more stuff like this. But this was another Lego haul video. Really, really happy with how these are turning out. I'm going to get this uploaded as soon as possible. But once again, thank you very much for watching another video from the Brick Shed. Please tune in to our weekly vlogs. Those are still going strong. And I always appreciate comments and questions on any of the videos. And if you feel so obliged, we do also offer membership here on YouTube. You don't really get anything special, unfortunately, other than just being able to say you support myself at the Brick Shed. YouTube is definitely not the best for making money, and these videos take many hours to film and edit. So, you know, if you feel so inclined, there is a membership button. I believe it's like $4 a month or something. And you do get access to videos a little bit earlier sometimes. Some of my videos, I finish editing a couple of days before I intend to have them out, and I just upload them for my members first. So feel free if you feel so inclined. But if you're new here, feel free to subscribe as well and leave us a like, do all that wonderful stuff. It definitely helps the algorithm and helps push our channel out to more people. So thank you very much for watching another video. I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.